welcome back to part 2. So I have assembled everything. Just get all these boys out, and they've all been painted, which is great. It took me a little while because I was chipping away at this in the background of working other jobs, but there we go. So we've got a full squad of Firefly guys, little Stuarty thing, and these walkers. Now let's have a little chat about some of these. There is some good and there is some bad. Start with this thing. Okay, just gonna turn this around so you can see it. I've left the turret removable because I know a lot of guys in bolt action like to turn the turret, so I think it might be part of the rules. I'm not quite sure on that. Right, so this kit to assemble is really easy. This is great. No complaints at all. I mean, I didn't do the turret and I didn't put any of the little like gobbinsy bits, which there's 10,000 on, but in terms of building and painting, very quick, looks great. You could easily build the other turret and have it usable in bolt action and have this one for K47. So all in all, I'm actually really happy with it. I did the bottom in black. I sprayed these track sections black, and I think that gives it a nice sort of like two-tone look, which I think is fine for a game like Konflikt 47 where it's slightly more sci-fi. It just stops it being all green like you can see in this picture. So yeah, Stuart, really good. This thing. There were a few things about this. I'll show you this one. This is the one I did. And you can just see that I sort of went for the classic scheme. I'm calling it a classic scheme. It's the scheme that's on the box and on the artwork. However, there are a few things I want to point out about this kit. So the first thing which to me became the most obvious is that this artwork and this model in this picture is not this model. This is like a pre-production model. The most obvious thing is when you look at the canopy and of the cockpit and everything, it's clearly not the same. They've got the rocket launchers on upside down according to the instructions, and this weapon kit loadout, as far as I can tell in the rules that are available, that's actually an illegal weapon combination. You have to take this thing. This is just like a light plasma cannon or something. So not a great start. There's also a few errors in this picture. You can see sort of like down here and at the back here where there are parts of the model where they've put the back, they've not cut it out correctly. It's so like if you look here, it looks like it's missing the back section of this foot, and that's because they faded it into the background. Same with this piston. So on a very close inspection, not great for advertising the product that you're supposed to be getting. My other issue with this kit is the paint job. So as you can see here, I've actually done some other minor little bits. So like I painted this leg section black. I wanted this black because I knew I was going to put the lettering on, which only comes in yellow with the transfers that come in this kit, and I wanted it to stand out, whereas it blends in a little bit on the green. So I did that in black. It doesn't jump out as being too noticeable, but it's nice and subtle enough that, you know, it looks fine. I also obviously did the lights and a couple of little details in black just to break it up, and I think that is the big issue with this, I don't know, kit. It's that they've just painted it green. You've got a sci-fi mech that's, yeah, it's still kind of World War II-ish, but it looks boring. It's just the whole thing is green, and you don't really notice it in this picture until you start painting the model, because it's so this picture is so bright and there's very little shadow on the mech and everything that you just don't notice it. But as soon as you spray yours green or paint it green or whatever, it's just going to look like a giant green blob. So if I was to do this model again, I would definitely be going and thinking about the Battletech mechs and painting that in that style. Maybe doing the upper half in one colour and the lower half in another colour. There's some great mech warrior schemes that would suit this very well, and they wouldn't look too far out of place in World War II. So while I kind of like the model, except for the feet, which I think they should have used chicken walkers, yeah, the artwork and the paint job, obviously to me, it just makes me feel like they've probably rushed it. So I did 2 of these. I've got this one with the double machine gunny thing. and I painted myself some little kill markings on the side. You do get a bunch of decals. You only get one decal sheet for the vehicles, so it's a little bit of a stretch. There's a lot of them if you want to use them, but I kind of feel like you maybe needed 2 of these or slightly more. Only getting 4 of the sort of allied star, which you might have spare from other bolt action kits. It just felt a little lacking to do all of these, especially if I was like, oh, I want 4 on this vehicle to do every side or whatever. So there's that. These guys, Fireflies, these are great. Really like these. They look spot on. I've used a quick shade on these, which I think is a really good product. But I mean, there's not much to say about them. They look great. They've really got that sort of World War II feel with the slight sci-fi aesthetic. I think you could probably use these in a bunch of games. You could easily use these in a sort of, you know, early sort of or mid 1900s sort of pulp. You know, they'd fit perfectly in that. If there was some kind of sci-fi pulp or whatever. But yeah, I'm really happy with these. I did the one commander with his shoulder pad. I don't know if you can really see that. I just did it kind of basic. You do get some stars and decals to put on those. And that was probably my only gripe about these, is could they have just, you know, very lightly etched the star onto the shoulder pad so that you didn't have to use a decal if you didn't want to. But apart from that, these guys are really good. I've got a full squad of them. And that's about that. That's about all I can really say about this kit. Do I think it's good value for money? Yeah, I think it's pretty good. As far as I'm aware, this is quite a large force. And compared to the other factions, you might actually get more in this box in terms of your army points. So you've got your squad, you've got a leader, a tank, and a mech, and that's meant to be the sort of starter force. But the extra mech they've just added in. So I've got the German set to do next, but from what I've been told, the extra mech is not needed in order to make them an equal fighting game or like a starter game or whatever. So you just get an extra mech. Considering the price of some of these kits, I think this one's quite good value for money. Any questions? Leave them in the comments. If you want to know how I painted any of these things, of course, just ask, and I will let you know how to do those things. Cheers. Thank you very much.